And it being, oops, wait a second. Is this charged?
Yes.
It's not doing its thing.
Let me see.
Alright, cool down. There's forward. Alright, now it's registering. Alright, time being 5:31, we're going to call the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS meeting to order. Present are 3 commissioners, Kathy, the 2 deputies, and the chief. And no one from the public. Public comments. First thing on the agenda, or district employees. Looks like that's an easy one too. Correspondences, do we have any?
No.
The only correspondence that I got today was this.
The request for a proposal from the legal.
Yes, from Legal and Primex, and
Yep.
the comments from both are incorporated into this document,
Yep.
which is before you, and you should probably approve
Mm-hmm.
if you so wish, so that the building committee can look at it.
Yep. I think a little bit further down we talk about.
The building committee somewhere is in here.
Yeah, and so, yeah, well, how about we move it, we'll discuss it at that point
That's very
as
good.
part of it.
Yep.
That works for everyone. Okay, chief's report.
Okay, I sent that out to you this morning. A mistake, I thought it went out Friday, but then when I opened my email this morning, it was still in the draft.
Been there, done that.
Yep. Has everybody had a chance to go through it yet?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Happy to entertain any questions.
I haven't had a chance to really
Okay.
dive down into the budget part of it.
All right.
Did you know that?
Budget-wise, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We've been reimbursed for 2 out of the 3 grants that we have outstanding. I'm waiting for the Tilton town to reimburse us on that portion of it. EMS ambulance revenue, we're up quite a bit over where we were last year, and so we're doing good
Is that what we're up 66,000?
over where we were at the same time last year. And as you know, last year we collected, I think, 524,000, so we're probably going to hit around $600,000 this year in revenue if things keep going the way they are. I don't see any reason for it to not. Our call volume is certainly up as well too. So
Where are we up?
we're up around 150 calls over where we were the same time last year.
It could be like 200 calls by the end.
So by the end of the year, it could be somewhere between 200 and 300 calls.
And I always have to ask this because it's like I can't write it down, but the unassigned fund balance, the 271, is that with the
Reserve.
reserve that the auditors made us take out?
Yes.
For
Yes,
pending
that
litigation.
includes,
Yes.
The reserves included in that or in addition?
It's
in addition to
in
that.
addition to
That's what I
that.
thought.
That's,
So it's
that's,
really-
we don't see that.
Right.
Right, so in our head, it's, if it was 100,000, it was really 371,000.
Right.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's in addition.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
in
just
addition
want to make
Because it
sure.
was all set aside.
Yeah.
Right, I just when I look at that number, I gotta play that in my head.
I know.
And I'm gonna ask you again next month, just so that you know.
That's fine.
Just-
In regards to that, I did have a meeting with Attorney Fitzgerald last Friday, and the Water District is taking additional action, trying to bring us back into court on Wednesday for, I'm not even exactly sure what, but Attorney Fitzgerald says he's going to squish that, and so,
This coming Wednesday?
yeah.
Can you send out the time and if
I
there's-
would, except he didn't give it to me because he says he's going to get it squished before it happens,
Is that like in tomorrow or next week?
like in tomorrow.
Okay. Now it can. All right, I'm gonna be good. Because I thought we had an agreement with them and working it out, and if they don't want to have that agreement, I have no problem going back to where we were.
So they want the agreement, but according to their attorney, the agreement is not in place yet, and so she just keeps on moving forward as if it wasn't in place.
Then we can go back to before the agreement. quite quickly.
That would be in bad faith, and that's, there, and I know, but it's always good to take the high road. And so that's what we're doing, and that's, our attorney's taking care of it, and to make sure that that's the way it goes.
What's the whole, I mean, that was back in.
So the holdup was that if we were not to, if the agreement was not funded, that there was a binding arbitration that would take place that would mandate whatever that binding arbitration came out with. In the end, the attorneys agreed, and this is why it's going to be squished tomorrow, to, instead of binding arbitration, another mediation. Because she wanted, we wanted binding arbitration, and they said, no, we want mediation. And Attorney Fitzgerald said, well, that's kind of like where you are right now. She goes, well, that's what we want. And he says, well, okay then. So
But I thought we had a,
Right.
we have a deal,
I thought we had a deal that we were waiting for the judge to approve the
and
mediation
so
agreement.
that's supposedly going to happen now. Because that one issue was left unsettled when everybody left that day, what would happen if it didn't get funded? Remember, they all decided they had to leave at 4:30 and Thursday.
No, I get that, but,
Everything else is agreed to, but the water district is behaving.
because we have a pending court date in November,
Yes,
December.
we do. That is still on the docket.
And we still have to get,
Public, special meeting and
special
all that.
meeting. I mean, this is like, holy cow.
So just so that they know, there was a very mixed feelings on the outcome of that. If it went to mediation again, I'm not sure that at least one commissioner would agree with the outcome that we had. It might even go worse.
I understand, and
Okay.
and they have that information.
Okay.
I think what they're gonna do though is they're gonna dig themselves right in a hole, because people are gonna see this.
Mhm.
That's costing not only us, but them money. And they're gonna ask for more next year or whatever. And you're gonna get, you won't see. It's gonna backfire in their face, sure enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Can I just mention one thing about the calls here? The number
Yes.
of calls. When you have I know there were a lot of calls at the high school, fire alarm activations at one point, and then get added on there. And I'm not saying it's not a call or anything, it just strikes me funny is, if you have 15 there, it gets put on here to make it look like, and I know you respond to every one, you have to. But God, there must be a way to stop that.
It stopped.
It stopped.
Yeah, it stopped. It was an issue with their fire alarm
It
company.
was a nuisance.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was coming in as a fire alarm. It was doing a special test, and it was a programming issue. So it started on like a Thursday, it happened on a Friday. I notified the facilities director, and it was Saturday, Sunday, and then it happened Monday, and then it was corrected after that. I think it was like 5 times or 6 times.
Because it just, when you see the number of calls there, you take something like that there's 15,
Yeah.
and people say, well, you know, there's 15, they're all fire alarm activated. There were nothing, a faulty alarm. So it just, I don't know, it just makes it look.
We're not trying to pad the
And I know you're not, it's too bad it has to happen like that.
An email went out as well. I mean, we try to treat each alarm as a real alarm. I mean, we don't want to become complacent, even though we're pretty sure, but an email went out informing the officers about what was going on. And if they just wanted to take the pickup truck or take the engine, we could do that as well. But if it goes into the CAD system, it's a call.
Mhm.
I know a lot of these places, you know, we used to have like on Scribner Road there, I mean, we'd go there every night, 2 or 3 times a night,
Yeah.
and it just,
We did
After a while,
85 false
Yeah.
alarms there one year.
yeah.
Before somebody put the thumb on them,
Yeah.
we created a nuisance alarm policy
Yep.
and they
Send the
went.
pickup word just to close out.
Yeah, it was, you gotta treat every one of them like an alarm.
And I understand
We were
that,
on
yeah.
3 fire trucks do it.
Yeah, I looked through the report. I didn't have any real concerns with the report itself. With your mutual aids, I saw that. I saw C3 was in service. Your grants. The only thing that I picked up on that I had a question for you was line 630 in the operating budget. The budgeted amount was, for a lot of it, 0. Is that just an error in the system?
No, I assumed doing 3 years averaging, that I know how much we're going to spend within 630 total, other than the ones I knew specifically. So I took an average of what the balance was, and that's why they're 0 funded, but there's still money in there to handle the actual.
So with your average, you average 5,570, but we've expended 25,000. Something seems a little off there. That's why I wanted to check on that whole
630,
category.
so
Part of that is the EMS equipment.
Okay, so this year we had a lot of EMS equipment that we weren't expecting or something?
Right, and some of that we're waiting for reimbursement from for the towns.
Yeah.
That was the,
that was the grant.
The grant.
Okay, so this is grant that we paid out. We're still waiting for money in.
Still
Yes.
waiting.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I saw that as, and yes, it was the EMS that was a significant jump, but
Tilton that has not been reimbursed. No, Tilton has not reimbursed us yet.
That's correct.
Right.
all right. I was just wondering because I saw the numbers and something on there looked very odd. So, okay. We have money coming in that will offset that
Yes.
23,000 to equal
We've got
get it back
half
to
of
where
it
it is.
already.
Okay. Sorry.
Yep.
That's just, when I looked through this, that's the only thing that really jumped out at me in the budget that I had a question on. Everything else was good.
All right, the only other thing I'd like to publicly comment on is that we had a resignation within our staff, and I offered employment to Aiden O'Brien as a full-time firefighter. Aiden will be transferring to us from Franklin.
Oh, he's an outside department coming in.
So he was a call firefighter here.
Okay.
He became a career firefighter in Hooksett,
Mhm.
and then he transferred to Franklin, and he's transferring from Franklin to here to fill that opening. So it's a great catch. Great
Rather
catch.
do outside the department than one of our safer people
So
have the opportunity
he's
to move
going,
up.
he's going on the safer list.
He goes back.
He goes to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
So safer employees that are here are
Mhm.
moving up.
Okay, so Zachary Marco is leaving. Was he a safer or
He was
full-time?
a safer.
He's a safer.
He was a safe, okay, all right, I thought he was part of the already full-time, and then that's why that question came into it. So he was safer, so this one's moving
So
into a
as
safer
people
position.
come to our department, if somebody leaves,
Okay,
everybody moves up.
Yep.
And the people come in seniority at the bottom of the list.
okay. Yeah, that all makes sense then, all right. My misunderstanding.
He's not, how do I put it? Because you just said the word seniority. So if he had 5 years of experience,
He's got 6 years experience.
okay, so he has 6 years, he considered more senior than someone that maybe came in green on the safer.
So, yeah, he's, in the fire department seniority, he's the bottom of the rung. But he's got 6 years
But
experience.
in real life experience, he's got 6 years.
Yeah, he lives just over the line in Canterbury, so,
Well, no, I just want to make sure.
But theoretically, if the safer grant is not funded after it's ending, he would be a potential loss,
yes.
based on the protocols,
Yep,
process, or whatever, yeah.
and he's aware of that.
And so you have two new dry hydrant and water cistern locations.
Yes, and we put applications in a few weeks ago for those from DES. I had communication with DES today, and the last email, I guess, is exactly what we're looking for, and there was a couple things missing from the application. So I gave him that, and we should have, he says he hopes to get the permits out to us by Friday, maybe Monday.
Do you have a ballpark number on each one, or is that how we're not
I
something like
haven't, I haven't contracted that out yet.
No, I
Good
think
chance to be installed by winter? or-
I hope to have them in before winter.
Good job.
Of course, getting contractors right now.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other story.
Is it a dry and a cistern, or is it?
No, they're two dry
Two dry
hydrants.
hydrants,
I
okay.
have a cistern location, but I'm still working out a deal with the property owner.
Nice.
Good job. We know a guy that works for CAT.
If you'd like, I can call the individual.
Yeah, well, we haven't got iron either.
Pass for the hydrants.
I didn't
I said, if you'd like, I can contact the contractor who's done work for us installing dry hydrants in the
That'd
past.
be great, yeah.
He's local, he's
Great.
pretty good, yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
And hopefully he's available.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, he usually,
Yeah.
Did some good last minute projects.
Bids for that, though, because of the purchasing policy.
We
Yes.
should, yes.
We'll attempt to get bids for it.
Yep.
But if we only want one guy that answers the phone,
Yep.
it's the best we can do at that
Right.
point.
Just make sure it's posted well and that we have all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good. Anything else, anyone from the chief's report? Looked good to me ahead of time, looking at it.
So I saw, there was the new engine,
Mm-hmm.
you guys went out and inspected that,
Yes, we did.
so what's the next step now?
That engine went to Pennsylvania, and it's getting the pump module and the body installed on it, and the rest of the stuff that needs to be done on it. While we were out there, we made a couple minor adjustments. There was some they overlooked a couple of things in our spec, and we caught that. So there's not gonna be any major issues. We already measured it for height, and it's the same as the current engine too.
How about the front end?
We did all that.
Take it for a drive out there and find some roads similar to New Hampshire roads?
No, it's very flat out there, very, very flat.
Interesting.
So hopefully in a month or so, we'll get our hands on it again. We'll go out and look at the final, and get the final inspection on it.
Pennsylvania's built similar to New Hampshire, same.
Yeah, so where it's built in Pennsylvania, it's somewhat similar to where we are here. Not quite as severe, but there's some hills. But we have the measuring techniques down to make sure that the angle of approach and angle of departure are what they need to be, the rear height, the front height, and all that stuff. Make sure it fits in the stations. Yep,
So you named the car C3 instead of C2?
yes.
Deputy Robinson, C2.
I love
We
that
had the
vehicle.
discussion?
Love that vehicle that we don't pay for. That's fine. All right. And the other one is gone,
It is
the
gone.
Flintstone mobile.
Yep.
it is gone, yes.
It's good because it would have needed to been inspected,
Yep.
and it wasn't gonna pass.
Yep. Yeah, I saw both of them out there today when I went through the first trip through, so.
Looks nice too.
Yeah,
Nice looking vehicle.
yeah. I just saw it briefly as it went by, but now you're not doing Flintstones anymore.
No, no, the gauges work. How much fuel I have.
I didn't know if we told them that the fuel gauge doesn't work. So they might drive it from someplace and run out of gas.
I'm sure they'll find out that the headlights don't work all the time.
Whack the dashboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're fully equipped, the box in the back and all that, or is it still pending?
No, it's still pending on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have everything I need back there right now.
Yeah. but the
Yeah.
permanent fixtures and
It's
stuff,
not
not done, okay. And there's no additional cost for that, that's, or is there?
The box we will have to buy, the drawer that he wants, we have to buy that.
Oh, the other one didn't fit?
No,
What's
Yes.
PO?
way too big. Personally,
Personal.
one vehicle,
Is that C2?
yes, in most cases it is.
Okay, because I know he was on that call, so.
So,
But there's money in the budget for that.
and we sent the old C2 out with, or the old car out with the box in it?
The box is in it, but they're delivering the box back here tomorrow,
Oh, okay,
so we still have to, we're gonna try and
Yeah.
sell it or something.
okay, that's why it's kind of, it's just trying to
Yes.
make some money off of it.
Sounds like it got pretty banged up when they were moving some of the attached equipment to it, so see what we can do with it.
Just trying to see if
Yeah.
offset costs anywhere we can. Very cheap.
Frugal.
Frugal, most of the time.
Is this issue further down?
Which one?
Just follows the address. Is he addressing it here or just in general he's addressing?
Well, it's actually part of the chief's report, actually. It's not part of the, it's nowhere else further down.
No, I just didn't know if it was a discussion item or is it just mean that he's taking care of the floor?
He's taking care of the floor.
Okay. Just, I didn't know if you had to tell us something special
Yeah,
about
no.
the floor.
Do you have a date on the painting?
No, I contacted them again today, and they said that they'll let me know.
It's kind of a dump down there right now with all the dirt, the equipment, and they get the stuff up and eventually they'll clean it out, but getting it kind of
So
prepped up a little bit might look better.
the site work itself is at a standstill because we're waiting for 2 telephone poles to be planted. One is called a mid-span pole, between a pole that's there now and a pole near the island of the fire station. It's like closer to the fire station than the one that's further away. Off of that, and that's supposed to be planted by Consolidated, the telephone company, because they own the telephone poles that have the telephone lines on it. The next pole is about 20 feet into the property, and that's going to be planted by Eversource, because that doesn't have any telephone lines on it,
Right.
just electricity and fiber. And then from there, it goes underground to the transformer vault, which is just on the outside of the fence. If you're looking at it, in the right front corner of the fence is where the transformer vault. Also, Liberty Utilities is going to dig a trench from the island all the way across the fire station to pass that telephone pole and then go into the front left corner of the fence area to feed the emergency generator for everybody else but us, because we're on the line that comes from the fire station.
So
Yeah, you don't,
when you're looking at the field, essentially, you
Yep.
got the station on the right,
yep,
you got the creek on the left.
yep.
Everything's going to stay to the creek side, or is it sounding like you're saying it's kind of going to go cross
No.
country for through the field,
No, it's not
Okay.
going through the field. It's on the left-hand side
the creek side?
by the creek side.
Okay, and that's where
Um,
they're bringing everything.
So
in.
the farthest pole, where the last pole on our property, if you're looking at it, here's the fenced-in area, here's Park Street.
Yeah.
The last pole is right about here. The new pole, the mid-span pole, is going about here.
Okay,
Then the second pole is going here, and then they dig a trench to here. Liberty Utilities is coming all the way across with a new gas line to here, and then coming in here, the stream is right here.
okay.
Now, would that affect?
It's not going to interfere with an addition or anything to the new fire station. If we would expand
Correct.
out 4 or 5 bays from what is currently there now,
Pole there.
it will not,
That's one, okay.
it won't
So it is
interfere with
Creekside.
that because
Thank you.
that's what I was trying to absolutely make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh,
I
it's
can see it on
lost
the
the
creek
There's a
side.
pole here,
Yep.
the pole you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Eversource, right, chief? You said Liberty?
Consolidated
Yes.
is for the first telephone pole, Eversource is the second telephone pole, and Liberty's for the gas.
Underground.
So there's a lot of,
Gas is done. They put it in a different trench now?
yeah, because
They're gonna, are they,
They
they're
want
not
it
big enough,
separate.
Separate meter then?
they're not big enough to park in the driveway, are
they're going across the front of it.
they? I know, but they're gonna trench it?
No, they're gonna probably dig a hole across it.
Sounds like quite bad.
They're gonna have to repair it.
Yep.
This is a little upsetting to me because when they put the original line into the back of the fire station, I informed the Liberty Utility people that the cell towers go in here, make sure you size the line appropriately
Yes.
for all these generators. He says, well, I only have one generator on my plan and that's all I'm gonna do. I said, the cell towers go in here and they're all gonna have generators, they're all gonna want gas, make it bigger. We'll deal with that then.
So the line that comes on the Northfield garage side of the station and goes around to the back,
Yep.
that's a line that's too small to supply all the utility pieces down in the fence?
Yes, so that line supplies the emergency generator for the fire department in the fence, but it's not big enough to supply all the others, so they have to put a new line in. And all the engineers that I deal with are like, but the Liberty Utility guy says, no, that's the way we do it.
Yep. Yeah, because it's extra.
So they got
So
everybody
AT&T is paying for that.
that goes up on the tower needs a generator.
They don't need a generator, but if they lose power,
Uninterrupted.
they, if they don't have a generator, they have to have a battery backup source, or they just go down. And most people don't like it when they go down. Some of them were talking about putting propane tanks in, and I said, no. Natural gas is here, we use natural gas, because
Yeah.
propane, a bunch of propane tanks is gonna look ugly.
And not to mention, even though we don't do a lot of live fire with that training area right there, it's just a bad method at all to be.
So once the electrical pole gets planted, they'll be back and finish the site work.
Okay.
So is that tower that's up there now, the AT&T, is that operational or is that just there for looks?
It's a decoration right now.
So I put a big windmill on it.
So I've been
That'd be
bugging
generator.
everybody to get their work done, you know.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, and that goes nowhere.
So police report, you good on?
Yeah.
I know you were still reading, so that's why I was.
No, I'm all done.
Yeah, you're all set with chief's report? Okay. I was just giving you the time. All right, so now we're gonna go into fire station building committee. One of the things we got from there is we got the request for proposal. We saw this before as draft format, before it went off to Primex and legal, not DRA and legal. And then they did their review. Is everyone comfortable with it based on, this is like our second time seeing it, and there was minimal modifications from what I saw of it.
Yeah, they added in insurances
Yep.
and indemnification.
Right. That was the biggest thing they did, was to protect our vested interests if there was anything at the end that we didn't have in there before. But most of the qualifications, the bidding the process, all that was pretty much the same as the draft, from what I
Yes,
remember.
it is.
It was just the legal part of it.
A lot of stuff.
Yep. So the only other part, and this is gonna lead into this next part, is that this was a RFP for a one-building design at Park Street location. So now we can get into the other discussion of the night, which may actually impact that RFP and may cause another review of it. as a small piece, but it is a potential tertiary effect of this discussion.
So, I guess I can start.
Yep.
As a result of a meeting with the Tilton Board of Selectmen, we decided that, the commission decided that it would be fruitful to look at the land at Sanborn Road as a fire station location. I spent some time on that. If you want to look at the color picture, I took the fire station that I briefly designed and put it on that plot of land, and it certainly fits. This is a 14,000 square foot building that I looked at. It meets all the needs. I had multiple fire officers look at the plan to make sure that it is what we need and there is nothing missing or nothing too much, and it fits the current needs of the fire department as is. So it does fit, it will work on this plot of land. And I also took the liberty to say, if we're gonna do this, this is what we should do at Park Street. And so at Park Street,
Yeah.
what I would do is I'd leave the front 4 bays as is and basically put some walls up where the rescue bay is and turn that into a kitchen lounge area for the firefighters that respond there, so that there's a, it's a heated space, air-conditioned space. It's not like sitting in a garage in the wintertime or in the summertime. And also turn that area into our training room, which would be very convenient because that's where our training facility is at any rate. So we could have classroom in the morning and do practical in the afternoon, and the space certainly works that way. And if we build this station, it's still the 12 bays that we've always needed, no more, no less. And the best thing that I can say about this is that if we were to build everything at Park Street, we're looking at a 20 or 21,000 square foot facility because 12 bays there. No matter what number you put on for a cost per square foot for construction, whether it's $200 or $800, because I don't know what it is right now. I didn't have a chance to make any phone calls to find out what the current building price is. 14,000 square feet is cheaper than 21,000. What I figure, what the cost for the training room is putting up some 2x4 stud walls, insulating, bringing a plumber in, HVAC guy for the mini splits to heat and cool it, and electrician and plumber. I can't see it costing more than 100, maybe 120, but I would certainly have somebody look at that does this, and it's certainly the most economical way to go as far as I can tell. As far as land goes and the deal for acquiring the land at Sanborn Road, I feel that the commissioners should offer the selectmen a land swap between Center Street and Sanborn Road as a starting point, is how we should get there. I know there may be some minor details that may need to be worked out on that, what to do with the building and things like that, but I think it's a fair swap. I know the town of Tilton needs the land for parking, and I know that location on Sanborn Road is a perfect location for a new fire station. So I think it meets the needs of the fire district, meets the needs of the town of Tilton, meets the needs of the town of Northfield, where they still have a fire station. Still, most of our call firefighters live in Northfield. They still have a great facility to respond to and respond from with the trucks, and have a decent place to wait for a call while they're waiting for a call and stuff like that, whereas right now they're basically sitting in a garage. Give them some more environmentally friendly atmosphere to sit in. I've had a lot of people look at this, and I haven't had any negative comments on it whatsoever. I guess with this plan would move all the career personnel to the new station. The call personnel would mainly still respond to the Park Street station as it is now. I mean, that is probably the biggest weakness of this whole plan, where we don't have one facility where everybody can meet, but we don't have the luxury of having the best location for one facility. If we tried, in my opinion, and this is talking with a lot of people, especially folks from Tilton, if we try to build one facility in Northfield that's going to fit all the personnel and apparatus of the fire department and don't have anything in Tilton, the folks that are living in Tilton would probably not vote for this, and so it would never pass a bond vote. So I see this plan meets everybody's needs, fills everybody's needs, and is probably the most economical plan going forward at this time. Of course, I don't know what the total costs are, because I don't have that cost per square foot thing going on right now. But I think this is a great place to start. And I think we should all kind of get on board with this and move forward so that we can finally get this show on the road, where I've been here for eight and a half years now, and we've been kind of treading water for that 8.5 years with multiple plans. And I think we have a good building committee put together right now that sees what kind of is needed, and I think the building committee needs some direction from the commissioners as where to go to from here. Because right now their mission is Park Street only, so they need a new mission to include this piece of land so that they can consider it, and then move on with the document that we have here, and with some minor language change in the first paragraph. We can take care of that. So I'm anxious to hear your comments.
So just as a reminder to the commissioners, when the station committee 3 years ago met, the first option was one station at Park Street with a future investment of a possible second street when they were talking about it. The second option that they were very much in favor of, but because of the lands and stuff, was this concept of a primary headquarters station over towards the exit 20 side. But at the time, there was no piece of property anywhere recently. But this was option number 2 out of that committee 2-3 years ago. So it was in the concept thing. It just was not a feasible do at the time. So that's, I just want to make sure that was
Cost of property.
right. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that was in the thought process for this part of it. Because that was option number 2. It's just it was limited at the time because
Interesting.
that, just for the commissioners.
Option, or was it an option?
Right. It was a preferred option, but based on the capabilities and the foreseeing coming out of that committee, it was not graspable at the time. Now it's possibly hands-on. A definite downside to this, just a personal opinion of mine, is that the combination department is still isolated, call versus full-time. I mean, that's just a downside. Question I do have for you is apparatus restructuring, and also going to look to the deputy as well, because you probably may not be around for fruition of this. So input from the 2 deputies as well. Apparatus, you're looking at 8 apparatus. Would you keep the 2 ambulances at the headquarters? Okay, that's kind of where my thought process goes. It's nice to have that down at Park Street for the call force, but if you have 2 people go out, to have to go get the ambulance like you're doing now is just...
It's extra work.
Exactly, it's
It
not
means
beneficial.
extra time. I would say in the future, we should purchase a 3rd ambulance.
I don't think we'll be getting to that kind of money down the road anytime in the near future. Just my opinion.
It's going to be sooner than they think. But I will not be here for that, for sure. So I'll leave that to others. I'm just telling you what I think probably should be happening.
So, in a way, I don't know what's going to be parked here, other than now, okay, ambulance, and an engine. So we got 3. But, so that in a sense, it could almost be the call force would have to know where to go, because if they, let's say it's a fire call, and you take the ambulance, or a car accident, you take the ambulance and the engine out, and now another call comes in, maybe another medical call, the call department's gonna have to know to respond to this station to get the ambulance, or possibly another engine,
So
or whatever you parked, I don't know.
So operationally, and that's where we'll defer to them, but the other thing you do is a quick response vehicle, whether it's utility or something like that, so that a call person could at least go there, grab a jump bag, an AED, show up on the scene, and stabilize
Start something.
while an engine or whatever needs to get there. At least size up the basic size. I mean, the call company will be more dependent on probably an engine and a utility out of the Park Street station, theoretically, operationally. I think that's what potentially would happen. They wouldn't have an ambulance there to respond with.
Off the top of my head, what we would have there would be the tanker, an engine, the forestry, utility.
There you go.
So that's off the top of my head. Of course, it probably won't be here when this stuff happens.
Where would you have them?
That would be up to the chief at the time.
Right.
To set that.
I'm not gonna worry about where you're gonna have stuff, because you gotta get it built first, get
Right.
it approved.
But theoretically, you could do that. So this could be your low usage stuff as well stored over there. I was very skeptical. I mean, we talked about this even when we talked with the Tilton selectmen. I was skeptical. There were some good concepts that came out of this. Based on what you've designed here and based on the conference and stuff, I mean, there's a lot of minute gain more in the nitpicking of the making sure of the concepts and the funding. I mean, I think what you have is a very good concept. I mean, I'd be asking things like, is that going to be a wet-dry training area? Obviously, turnout gear or not, are you going to have it partitioned so that the kitchen area is separate from, if they're going to be in there, the bunker pan bottoms, things like that, with the whiteboards, a lot of this minuscule things.
My impression is that would be a classroom type setting where you would not be having.
They'd be
it'd
out of the
be a
turnout
clean
gear when
space.
they're in there.
It'd be a clean space.
It would be a clean, okay. Just some of the things that looking at all this, because you have a training facility there, this would be an opportunity to really build upon it. Maybe something you do look at is separating that and have that as a wet dry or a clean dirty, so that they could be there in their bunker gear and then go back to
What we do
evolution.
currently, if we do that stuff, we just pull the trucks out and use the apparatus room as
Right.
that type of area.
Yep.
I'm going to say something that's probably not very popular with the chief, but I've watched every chief do it since then. And one thing that I'm very strong about is we have 7 primary pieces of vehicles. That includes 2 ambulances. He's designed room for 12. It's too much. Not 2 bays of it. 2.
Okay.
1 bay behind the other. That leaves room for 6. I don't foresee the future of the department adding more vehicles. We haven't got the people and the enrollment.
Well, because in the past, it's been mentioned that, I don't know, that the truck rescue one, that
Throwing that out there, what do you
once
think?
it's done, it's done.
I had 11 spaces filled up when I did this.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought there was 8 there and 4,
Yes, so it's 12 altogether.
yes.
And when I started adding things up and putting places in, I had 11 of the 12 filled up. And my thought process was, in the future, that we would need another ambulance. So currently, we do a lot of simultaneous ambulance calls, and when we have one of our ambulances out for service for either repairs or PMs, we end up giving a lot of calls away. If we had that third ambulance, either it could be used for the call company when they respond because we're busy with an engine or an ambulance call somewhere else, or for when that other ambulance is down, we're not giving calls away.
But my thought
And
was,
when we go to buy that,
Oh, well, I was just
the
looking at
2
the
ambulances
apparatus.
we have are already
Put
paid
them
for,
out here.
it really won't cost us anything.
correct, but would 2 ambulances fit in 1 apparatus bay?
They could be
One
stacked
behind the other.
Yes.
in a trailer or something.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm thinking of a
Not a
concept
Park-
of, wait a minute, you only got 7, you want 12, what are you gonna buy?
Oh, yeah, so a Park
And
Street,
I don't foresee us increasing our fleet in the
Right.
future. If anything, it'll maintain or shrink, because I think what we've done with the fire service in the last 15 years is we're working very closely with our surrounding communities.
You're
To
mutually
me,
interested
the
in
number
that.
one job of a fire chief is maintain those relationships.
Yep.
Because, you know,
Mutual aid, because you won't be able, Tilton Northfield can't handle fire entirely by themselves with their manpower or
Correct.
their personnel.
correct.
And
And
the
that's-
department out there
There's
just
nobody-
can't do
nobody
it.
can.
There's no community around here that
So,
can.
Right.
so we don't need to add vehicles, you know, we've got those.
Based on a quick.
So, again, probably not very popular, chief, and you and I haven't had much of a chance to talk about this, but that's, every time we've had a chief come forward with a substation that's come out with 8 bays. We don't have 8 vehicles, we got 7. Now, granted, there's a forestry, we need at least 8 bays, don't get me wrong.
So what I went through a quick synopsis, and I may be missing something, is you got engine 1, engine 3, tower 1, I'm sorry, tanker 1, your ladder or tower 1, you rescue 1, so there's 5 to start right off the bat.
Correct. Primary, full-size, large vehicles.
And then you have A1,
Yep.
A2, forestry 1, so there's 3 more.
Utility.
Then you got utility, if you put that inside, you got a trailer for the Argo and a trailer for the boat.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of wheels, the way I look at that right off the bat. So this gives you space for 12. And theoretically, when you get into the engineering portion of it, if it gets the next step, roughly, just in the early concept, if you need to knock off one whole row here, and you do 3 wide, if for some reason you look at the cost versus benefit of going 4 versus 3, and I am very frugal, and if it's feasible that they can be stacked in there without tripping over a tow bar, the trailer hitch, because you don't need all those shin splints of vehicles bumper to bumper. If you could fit it then and shave off that one, absolutely, in the
Yeah,
implementation
and
phase.
just, I foresee it as,
Yep.
these are full-size apparatus bays
Yep.
that'll fit a ladder truck.
Right,
Well, let's put 2 trailers in one of those bays.
exactly,
Let's
yep.
put 2 pickup trucks in the other bays. Now, we're at
We could be
7,
down-
we're at 9,
Yep.
you know.
We very well could drop it down to 10 by doing that and take off an entire 2 bays right there to do that in the implementation
Exactly,
phase.
but I mean, that's a,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it's not a huge money saver because it's apparatus bay, it's not
Yeah.
a living space.
it's extension
That's the
wall.
unfortunate part.
Right, it's, the only question for you is anything that's on the far side, which you looked at turnout gear, gear storage, equipment storage and all that, there is no plumbing going over there. And that's one of the things I saw, which is good, because then all your plumbing is still staying over in a centralized piece, so essentially you're just putting air and maybe some air hoses and stuff over there.
There will be water over there because you need, depending upon, you need drops for tank fills and things like that, a garden hose for washing the truck. So there would be minor plumbing over
But
there.
not drainage.
Drainage will be in the floor. There won't be plumbing drainage.
There won't be any
Like
drainage.
like a sink or toilet. No.
Correct. There won't
All
be
that will
any
be
of
over
that.
here.
Over there, that's going to be in the main concept. That's where you're saving money on that. Just like with your Park Street, I mean, we'd be chopping up the concrete again if you were to put a kitchenette in there, because now we got to have drainage from that plumbing for that. So we'd be chopping the concrete and bringing in the floor guy again.
I got a plan for that.
or an injection pump, or is the other option, right? I think these are good options. I'm sure it's going to be a shock to the station committee, so that's why the commissioners definitely need to look at this a little bit tonight and get some conceptual ideas and guidance, because there's a meeting of the station committee on the 12th. So what are the commissioners' thoughts?
That's not my opinion.
Sure.
Well, first of all, when we went and met with the town of Tilton, I do remember one of them saying, one of the selectmen saying, they promised, I believe, if I heard it right, they promised that piece of land to get that police station to the football team or
For recreational, public recreation,
And
yes.
here they are, now they've turned right around and done just the opposite. And that's kind of a slap in the face to kind of the town of Tilton. Number 2 is, I gave it some thought over the weekend because I've had these here anyhow. A lot of people, and I know Tilton probably pays the biggest share of it, but it's not a matter of Tilton versus Northfield. It's a combined station. We shouldn't look at it like Tilton, Northfield. Tilton pays more. We should have it in Tilton because that's where it should be. it's too bad people look at it that way, but I guess they do. That bothers me too. The other thing too is when you build 2 stations, just remember, the cost of heating it, the cost of everything doing is a lot more money. And to me, money is the big thing. If it's cheaper to do it this way, I have no problem with it. But I don't think it's gonna be cheaper in the long run. I'd have to see numbers. And it'd have to be a lot cheaper, a lot. I'm not talking, $50,000, $60,000, I'm talking a lot. Because people don't want 2, we want 1 station. And when you start having 2, you got bigger expense to heat it and all the other things that maintain it. I mean, there's a lot that goes with it, so.
We're heating and maintaining 2 stations currently, so.
You're right.
This would be more, well, I don't know, with energy efficiency things, I don't know really where it would fall out, energy-wise and stuff like that, but
Cheaper than we are now.
Well,
maybe,
when you get to that point, that's why you're gonna have architects and
Engine.
yeah.
engineers, because I'm not gonna be able to tell you the R factor or something and say, oh, you'll save
I mean-
$1,000, I don't know.
Maybe it's, worth putting solar panels on it, I don't, these are things that we should look at if we're moving forward,
Let's get a nice southern exposure.
it does.
And just one other thing, though, you gotta remember, in downtown here is where the biggest we have 3 schools here. We have Tilton, plus Tilton School, we have 2 factories in Northfield. So the population is more or less in town. And I believe it's always time to get there, response time. Now we're talking further, come this way, and where the population is, so.
But it's further with the move that they're talking about also.
It's not as
No,
far
it's
as
not
up
as far
there,
as that.
but it's
Right.
a little further, but not much.
Yep.
I mean, you got the soldiers' home up there. I don't know how many calls you make a year up there, but I'm sure it's quite a few.
Used to
Now
be
we're
a lot.
talking further away.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things to look at. I mean, it's,
But the major hurdle, as you had said earlier, was the cost of property in that area. And it sounds like there's a chance that that hurdle has been possibly conquered.
and I think the other thing on
So
there,
that-
if I ain't mistaken, there was something about the water up there, getting water up there.
We would have, the water district, we'd have to cooperate with them, and that would,
Well, no, there's
the main there already.
so, I don't know where it is on this picture, but there's a fire hydrant coming up from, like Walgreens on the right-hand side. If you're on the south side of that fire hydrant and you connect there, it's a lot cheaper than connecting north of that hydrant. Because the business park put in from north of that hydrant up, and the way that their whole,
You gotta pay a fee.
Ponzi scheme,
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice.
well, that's what it
We
is.
would have to pay a user fee to Jake.
So when the building committee was looking at Business Park Drive for a police station, we had 2 locations of Business Park Drive as options. It was like between $500,000 and $600,000 fee just for water.
Yeah.
And then we looked, once this became available, it was like a $20,000 fee to connect south of there. So, I think it's, so that's, and I think it's very doable, but it's like, you just gotta make sure from Ruth or Sanborn Road, looking at that hydrant, you wanna be to the right of it, because if you're looking at it from the back,
Tap in off the right of it.
yeah, you wanna tap in on the south side of that hydrant.
The hydrant at PD,
Well, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah, it's
so
a
right
hydrant
on
at-
the lot.
at the rear of
In the
PD.
rear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where all the hydrants,
At the rear of the PD?
yeah, there's one up there,
Yeah, by the Southport.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, you
So
typically.
I mean, you
that's,
just got it, I mean,
The
it's
next
just-
hydrant is at the entrance to the
Mall.
Hangar.
mall. Yep.
Yeah, and that's an expensive hydrant,
Right. Yeah, because it's beyond the
it's beyond.
one by the cemetery.
I think, the other thing too is I think people are gonna look at it, how many more times you're gonna change? This is the 3rd time. It's gonna be number 3.
Oh, no, Paul, it's been 12 times.
Well,
We've
different
been at
areas.
this for a long time.
Different areas.
Yeah.
I mean, there were different areas.
Yeah.
We had 3 areas. This is the
We got
3rd.
smaller communities that are already talking about replacing stations that they did 20 years ago. And here we are, stuck for 100 and some odd years,
It was just about the time you came on the force, so.
45, yeah.
So there's a couple things that definitely need to be looked at. First off, we need to get the selectmen input on this, because I wasn't comfortable with that conversation when we walked away from them, to be honest, with where they stand on it. There was not a uniformed approach of the selectmen on this. So that's something that needs to be addressed by the selectmen at their meeting.
Well, at one of our meetings recently, I went back to them,
Okay.
I think it was before our last meeting in August, and I went to it's like, now, keep in mind that it was after, I don't know if you've heard anything about this line, but things have been very contentious lately.
That's the Tilton selectmen. I have enough other things.
Well, it was on the front page of the Daily Sun, so their response to me was that they wanted us as commissioners to come, they didn't feel we were unified. That was like one of the big feedback things.
Yes, one of the selectmen was very clear in what she said on that.
Right. As far as you're gonna get two different sides to whether there's a football field there or not, but keep in mind that the football program at the middle school was 24 hours from being canceled this year because they couldn't find a coach. So, I don't know that, but, based on this, and again, it's a schematic, but there's potential for public use back there with a parking lot that's already existing, putting in
Yeah,
some.
I looked at that, you could put basketball courts. Or
Yeah, that's, so I think if we go back to the Board of Selectmen, or I go back to the town administrator really, and say, or we go back, whatever, and I'll say, we are more unified, we're unified in this plan. And we have, then it'll get further traction. But I'm just telling you right now, the temperature of the Board of Selectmen is,
Well, I mean,
which way the wind's blowing right now, and it's
sat here
not blowing in a good
and
direction.
listened to your reasoning, and there was reasoning there.
Oh,
And you're about to rock a boat. Before you rock the boat, you ought to make sure that you can even begin to do something
Right.
like this. Because, again, I didn't hear anybody say absolutely not. This is something that probably needs a little more looking into, because number one, we've discovered that it fits.
Mm-hmm.
6 days, 8 days,
Yep.
whatever you do. But before you rock the boat,
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to have you rock the boat and then someone say, "No, we're putting a football field in." Ooh,
Well, I don't
okay.
think
The
that
football field's been ruled out.
Well, it would make sense to me it would. Boy, there's an awful nice one down at the high school, and,
It was an additional field, but they're saying that it won't fit, even though it would fit.
Right.
There's all kinds of stuff with
Yeah.
that, but it all depends on the lease or the agreement or transition of power, what the requirements on it was, whether, and I heard at one time, and this is rumor, that it had to have some kind of public recreation as part of that.
Yep, and
Whether it may not have locked it into football, but that's what it was sold as to the public, but a public recreation usage. If there's still a quadrant of it that could meet that and meet the intent for the town of Tilton, for their,
well, the land has to be used for municipal.
Okay.
Yep. Municipal.
I just thought when it was purchased from the church.
We can't
that-
we can't go and put a fast food restaurant in
Right.
there. But it has to be for the municipality, and that's it.
Yeah, because it was bought from the Diocese of Manchester or something
That's
like that.
covered. I mean, there's,
And I thought that was part of it, yeah, because the school looked at it at one time too, but, so the purchase of it.
so
I
is that
think that-
originally going to be an extension of the cemetery?
No.
yeah, originally,
Oh, probably.
that's why the town of Tilton originally had like a 20-year lease or 30-year
Gotcha,
lease.
okay, okay.
We pay like $1 a year
Yeah,
to diocese, but I believe they're shifting their focus to other
Yep.
burial locations
Well,
in
and
the area.
with cremation, it's a new option. And
Well, I
lots of
think
places-
because the church is now more focused in Franklin.
Yeah, yeah.
So I believe there's a cemetery
That
in
was-
Franklin, so I think.
So, kind of getting back to this, what do the commissioners think? Because we know that you have to keep the public, you gotta keep the public happy. Whatever we come out of this with for the best idea, right now, it's almost throwing another chaos grenade into the middle of this, what we've been in, and even though that we had tasked the station committee with moving forward with the one over in Northfield, and now the commissioners are gonna pretty much say, hey, hold your horses again, because we're looking at this. So that is,
Well,
and,
it doesn't make you look good, but somebody threw a surprise at you.
I think I think the committee was kind of in a reset,
waiting on that, yes.
waiting on that.
Yep.
And I don't think it's gonna be a terrible, again, I don't speak legalese. I don't think it's gonna be a terrible change. But I think if somehow we get back to the board of selectmen, you know, that we're unified, whatever, for lack of a better word, in agreement on the chief's plan here. You know, obviously, you know, I don't know the square footage of that building, but it looks like it, you know, will go.
What'd you do for an overall dimension of this, 80 by 190?
Yes.
190. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah,
190.
across the front of it, 190.
Okay.
Because you have 100 feet here, I
Well,
believe.
that's the distance between,
Oh, okay, I thought the parking lot, because the parking lot, I believe, was only like
Yeah.
60 feet wide.
Alright.
the distance between, I used the rolling wheel thing that I have.
Yeah.
So a couple of optional do-outs from this. I don't know how we want to look at this, but we have the impact on the station committee. As far as that rough number, the fire station convention we went to, there was a couple of agencies there where you can throw your raw plans at them and they can give you some ballparks. It's not submit to the public amount, but it can give you a feasible walkability of what it was. I can try to reach out to a couple of them to see the initial this and interior, because with the interior, the advantage to this, one of the things we're doing is that station, the envelope can stay as it is. We aren't having to bring that up to, no?
It's no change in the
Okay,
use.
you're in agreement. I thought you were saying no,
No.
there's a lot, so you don't have to do envelope change and things like that, and that's where you're saving some significant money. You're retaining the walls, some electrical, some plumbing, some interior walls, so they're saving a dramatic landscape and all that stuff. So that could very well be within that price range. I'll try to reach out and see what they would look at with that, and we had some really rough drawings like this that of what if we were to do one station over at Park Street, and I'll try to get you at least, I'll work on that to try and get you, hey, this is what it would be. I mean, it's not,
No, but it'd be.
it might help with that thought process of building new based on this, or if we had to do it, if we can get raw number of this is 4.1. That might be 3.8 and this might be something like that, because obviously if we got to look at that. If we're looking at 6 million, it's not even going to go again, because that's higher than what we were before and they didn't like it. But I can try and get that for you at least, and then send that out through the system of raw number if I can get that back from a couple of those engineering firms that just give you the raw data, if that will help with it. Okay. So I will do that as a do-out of the raw numbers. Okay, what's the thought process towards the station committee now? Since I'm the one that, or the chief is one of the two of us have to deliver this news.
I think the commissioners need to tell the building committee that, to look at this and take this into consideration with their RFP. And I think the only change, it only needs to be in the first paragraph, and
Exactly.
just to add, change the address of headquarters and add minor renovation to Park Street language.
It will slow down the whole bid. It is going to slow down the whole process.
No question.
It may not even make it to March at this point, because it was a tight run to get it to March this year with the single station at Park Street.
I think if we're just changing the address language, I don't think we need this, we definitely don't need to send it out for review.
Yeah.
Have Primex and the attorney, because they've looked at it to form and our protection. We're adding an address, a couple of addresses, and changing like the
That part I'm not concerned about.
That's all that this document really needs.
I'm concerned about the whole scope of process of one station for bidding and all that versus two. So until you really have what, are you gonna go A or B? To even go to, give us your thoughts and bids and all that stuff, we can't fairly do that to a construction company on a public road. A or B has to be determined beforehand.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
That's kind of where I'm getting at, where it's going to stymie and slow the process of that, because right now, they were going for A, and now there's B. Which one do the commissioners want to direct it towards? And that's where questions of the raw numbers, water hookup, finding out which side we're coming into on that, because, like you said, if there is a contractual agreement that you're going to go to 250,000 because you're coming on the wrong side of the hydrant, well, that's now
Because I'm pretty sure the water firm is not gonna work with us.
correct. That's part of it, but the other process is just now that's incorporating into
That's
costs.
just a matter of where we draw the lines.
Well, yeah, I was just,
But water hookup, that is gonna, it sounds like that is a significant potential impact.
oh, absolutely it is.
I think,
If we can come around the police station and say, oh, absolutely.
yeah, if we have to come off the street, it's
God, the hose
just
is
where we
working
put the
fine.
line,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Right.
And so that we're on the right side, the property line is on the right side of on the correct side of the hydrant, so that you're not paying that enormous fee.
And then the other thing is the Tilton Selectmen. We need something solid from them on what can be done on that property or not. These are steps before we even go forward to them is,
So I would think the commissioners could send, have Kathy or me send a letter to the select board stating that we propose that we would love to use that for a fire station, and that in payment of that, we could do a land swap between the Center Street Fire Station and this thing as a starting point for negotiations. And let's see where it goes.
Well, I don't
Do you
think,
think-
I don't think they want the town, anyone to pay twice for that.
Right.
I don't think it's a monetary thing, but the land swap satisfies.
Well, no, but I mean, what it does do, and again, I speak as a taxpayer, a longtime taxpayer of the town of Tilton, that at least it gets considered, take a look at it, because, you kind of thought about it before, and $1 million an acre up there at exit 20, forget about it,
Yeah.
Now, this kind of changes things, and again, I know it doesn't make the three of you look very good, but guess what? Surprise, somebody threw something at you, and as a taxpayer, I think it's just an option that should be considered, even if it causes a delay. But God, let's make the right decision, and both financially and location-wise.
And a plan that
You gotta remember, we supported a fire station up in Winnisquam to cover East Tilton for many, many, many years.
Yep.
And that support, that went away,
quite a while ago.
yeah.
geez, that's big.
But anyways,
When's your next selectmen meeting?
The Thursday after your,
So we're 9/12, I think that's the Monday or Tuesday.
It's, but you guys are the first and,
the
Third.
15th.
Yeah, 9/15.
I keep looking at that Irvin.
So I don't know if you write.
Oh, yeah.
Irvin, the only reason they've got it is so that no one else can go
Gas
there.
station.
Yeah,
No, they
it's
want
too
the
small.
sign.
And it's still, no, it's too small, but I
They
mean,
want the sign.
they want the sign.
That's an expensive spot for a sign.
Yeah.
All right, so you're 9:15 and the station is 9/12. So what do the commissioners want to do with the station committee? Is the first piece. Have them hold off another 2 weeks? Is there,
Well, your meeting is the 12th.
Yeah.
on Monday,
Well, you,
Tuesday.
so are you gonna reach out to the town administrator to talk to her?
That would be my job.
Your job, okay.
because we do have budget committee, budget workshops in
Thursday.
advance
Thursday, yeah.
that we could action ahead of that time if we
She's out of the office until September 6th, which is today,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Just because I sent her an email. Yeah, I mean, see if we can get it
It's the fifth, right?
on the agenda. I don't know if you come make the present, the pitch to the board.
I don't mind, I can do it.
I'm just letting you know, you want to get on early.
Yes. And
You want to get on early before we get into our meeting.
So on the 8th is our budget, our workshop. That's
Yes,
when
on Thursday.
our group would. So, I mean, I know you're saying go to the Tilton Selectmen as a group on the 15th. If there was some information transference before the Thursday, the 8th, then we could possibly redirect our guidance or reaffirm our guidance to the station committee on the 12th.
I thought the 8th one was not happening.
No, it's the 13th that's not happening.
I can't remember.
Yeah, be back here Thursday.
No, I'm
Is
just,
Thursday we're back here?
Yes,
okay, so wait,
Guess
so
I should look at the
the
calendar.
one on the
Yes,
13th
sir.
I'm deleting out?
yes.
Okay, deleted. Move the trash.
The 8th stays, the 13th goes away,
Okay.
and the 20th stays.
Right.
Boy, caramba.
Is there a chance that you could have information by Thursday, that for us to,
I'll call if you need tomorrow.
so can we add this to Thursdays? I know it's a budget working group, but can we put the station in there
Yeah.
as a talking point as well?
Well, you have to just put it out, make
It's-
sure it's
it's
posted as a
already-
meeting,
it's already-
24 hours.
It's posted already,
It's posted.
But we have
Let me
more than
see what
24
I
hours right now if
posted
she
it
makes an
as.
adjustment to it.
doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
It's, hold on, let me see what I posted it as.
Then that gives,
I posted it as a budget workshop, but the fire station is part of the budget.
you get more than 24 hours, you could just say it's also add that to it, too.
That's been a
It's
strong.
still be legal.
Yeah. I'd have to post it as a regular meeting.
Should we do a regular meeting prior to the budget work group? Just for
Yes.
that one topic, rather than, yeah,
Sure.
and then we could just do it that way.
What time?
5:30 for
time.
that one, followed by the budget work group.
Okay,
Wait, so
I can do that.
That way we
is that
have
at 5 or 5:30?
It was at 5:30.
5:30.
All right, I have 5 on my calendar.
Well, it's because the budget committee is at 5.
Wait, on Thursday?
No, we haven't,
don't have
we
it.
haven't gotten
It's
It's
that
just
just
yet.
a
us,
date.
we haven't gone.
I saw an email from the budget committee.
I sent an email out asking for dates.
You know all my dates.
That I do,
Okay,
so, yes.
She's looking for other member states.
okay.
So long as it's not Friday for the first one, please.
All right, so some do outs from this, and I doubt I'm gonna have an answer back by that, is raw number, the question of the water hookup, property usage for the Tilton lot, and transfer questions. Property or financial ballpark thoughts. It's not gonna be a solid answer because the selectmen aren't meeting at that time, but if the town administrator has some thoughts on that, of what they wanna do, whether it becomes a parking lot over there, demolition costs, some of those things that kind of see what we can do before the 8th. So, some phone calls tomorrow. And then we can revisit this on the 8th, be able to decide which way to address to the station committee. Does that sound like a plan?
It's a start.
It's a movement, it's a direction somewhere.
Well, even if you don't have an answer, you should probably give them a heads up and say, hey, this has come up.
Yep.
They worked hard.
And they did.
Yeah, I know.
And let them know
I'll
that
reach out to
this
Kevin.
came up and where we,
Well, I think if we were 6 months down the line into this, it would be a different story, but we're kind of,
We were,
To get to March, we're already.
I think,
we're-
yeah, oh, yeah.
for the, not for a building, but to get the funding to move forward that direction.
so we don't need funding at this March.
no,
No, this one is to say that we're gonna go.
right.
Yeah.
For, this one was, okay, this is what the The conceptual idea is, so a conceptual white box fit here with this in it. The funding of all the layouts and all that stuff inside is next March, because that's when the actual, this is what, you could fit a box here that houses this much stuff and would be a headquarters, or would not. Or in this case, that's where it currently was. Throwing this in there, I don't even know if that's feasible, but step one before step 10.
Anything's feasible.
Yes.
So basically what you're.
10 years from now, we could have a station built. That's feasible.
So basically what you're saying
Be
is,
careful. I thought that 45 years ago.
in March, you want to go before the body and tell them what your plans are.
What the intent is, yes.
And then
And then
and
over
let
that
them
next
know
year,
that the
working it
following
out.
year-
Right,
you'll come before them with finalized numbers,
correct. That was,
which makes sense.
that was kind of the whole process of what we're trying to get with this right
And you
now.
can still do that.
Yeah.
You've got time.
Like the layouts, plans, and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Basically don't know what.
Things are feasible, yes.
Definitely.
Wow, all right.
All right. That was a fun exercise.
I have a fantasy football draft. So,
So, we got some do outs from that. We have some surprises in this. We'll keep going one way or the other, and then on the 8th, we'll have I'll reach out to Kevin Kate in advance, and who knows, a member or two of the board, of the station committee might even be here on Thursday night at 8:30, or 5:30 if they can.
Not 8:30, please.
Sorry, I caught myself.
I'll be sound asleep by then.
Okay, so where do the commissioners stand on the communications we got? On table it at the moment? Because of the possible change to the first part of it in the project description?
Yeah,
Yes.
Good with that?
Yeah.
You good with that?
yep.
Okay. Yeah, we've actioned that. Okay. All right. Let's move on to old business. Done? All right. All right. Back to the chief, I think. Disaster recovery plan.
actually. Kathy, do you have that document for that?
I do.
This is under the new business, A. Okay.
This has to do with, this has to do with computer stuff, right?
Yes, the disaster, there are two, the disaster recovery plan and the incident response plan.
Yep. A and B. Okay.
And Primex said that they sent out a questionnaire, they do this every year, and they said, well, you need to have these.
The
So,
policy.
I wrote them,
Okay. So we'll do first reading of it with,
they're both there.
okay.
You're gonna love them.
All right. So where it's the first reading of it, do we want to take time to read it, or do we want to do a reading and then?
I emailed it out to you guys.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see my emails either.
No, but I responded to you to tell you I didn't get
Well,
it.
that's why I knew about it, so I must have read it, whether or not I retained any of it, the old ones. Do you know
It's
what?
pretty much boilerplate.
It's boilerplate of what's required, so.
Yes.
No, I'm sure they sent you a template, and you just filled in.
No,
No?
not really. They sent what needed to be on it, but it wasn't a template.
There was no template,
Found it.
so I,
Disaster.
I was okay with what you said.
Okay.
I don't reinvent the wheel.
Don't know how effective it is until it happens,
That's right. And there are some spots that,
and you revise it.
in the disaster plan, you know, they want locations, but you can't put in a location until it happens. And then you find a location.
Well, like Holiday Inn right now, you can't book a room online.
Really?
Yeah, their system got attacked.
Oh,
Just have to call them, I guess.
Leave that slow.
So this is just a response one. Okay. It's
yes.
very basic.
You remember when you sent it, Catherine?
I just had it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right, I can get it right here. There it goes, on the 17th.
The disaster one I'm good with already. It follows standard notification process. That one,
sit in an office all day, just try to think of things like this.
Oh, that's all they do?
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
But with, you know,
You
the
know,
cyber attacks.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure they're,
Yeah, one of our military systems is down for over a month because of one.
Really?
Yeah.
Ouch.
The health information portal. So
Oh.
to get to your records and stuff, yeah, we're down for
That's
plenty of
not
month.
good.
Nope. For the full investigation and all that, so it's really hampering our work. Incident response plan,
Say blame the Russians, they're probably not that far away.
China.
China?
Economy passed.
How could the incident response plan be triggered? What would trigger that? The
If we had, yes, if we had a disaster,
Then we use the
then
incident response.
the incident,
plan.
that triggers
This is
the
the
incident
notification,
response.
okay, okay, that,
Yes.
And we're doing everything we can to prevent the disaster.
Mhm.
no, I'm good with that now, but I just wanted to know the trigger point for what.
Yes.
And this one is, yeah, the systems go down, and if it does, what we notify. Okay. Good with both of those then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll try not to come up with any more this year, but no guarantees.
I would rather have them in place and not needed than needed and not in place.
That is true.
All right. Park Street lot consolidation, is that different from what we've discussed already, or?
It's just taking all the lots that comprise
Thank you.
Park Street and turning it into a single lot
Okay.
to make it easier for the utility companies to put the poles in without creating an undue long process, creating easements on land that we already own for the same stuff.
So it's just merging it into current use for,
Lot line mergers?
Yes,
okay,
lot line merger.
okay. For the piece that we bought up as a smaller piece, the rest of it was all ours, it's just merging the two.
There's actually, I think, 4 or 5 lots that can comprise that piece, and we want to merge it into one lot. If the commissioners will vote to authorize me to sign that document saying we want to merge it into one lot, that would be great.
And that goes before the planning board, I think.
Yes, it goes before the Northfield Planning Board.
All right, do we have a motion to merge first off?
I'll make a motion that we give the chief authorization to
Merge?
merge the lot lines.
Do we have a
at the Park
second?
Street
I'll
Station.
second that.
Okay, well, okay, now discussion on it, if any? I think it's just part of the process.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Yeah, that one's done too. All right, fiber.
So at the end, well, during the budget process last year, we got a quote to install fiber at Center Street. And it was approved at the budget committee and passed at the district meeting. When I went to implement the process, I was notified that the quote was a typo and that they would not install it because they made a mistake on the thing. And I didn't sign anything because I didn't have any approval to sign anything. So I went and got new quotes from 2 different companies this time. And the cheapest quote is from First Light, and the cost to have fiber is $343 per month for 100 up and 100 down. No cost for installation. And that's what my recommendation is, and I'm going to put it in the budget going forth. I just want to make sure that the commissioners are cool with that, so that I can have this in place by January.
Would we approve it for? At
That's what
the,
I'm trying to. I think that should be in here what we budgeted for it last year.
Yeah,
Where would that be?
it was
Information technology, that's our software.
No, it's under phones.
under phones,
It's all
under
about
IT.
IT, yes, the phones, the internet.
Internet.
That one is 341, you got a number? Where is it?
well, it's 2808 for the year,
Yeah, but what line?
341 and a half.
Internet, got it, yep. 2808 for the year.
That's 200 or something a month.
Yes. And
You're budgeting only for 8
A
months.
portion of it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So we haven't moved anything over yet.
No.
So we would only be current usage from,
We'd probably stay where we are until, my plan is to make it so that it takes effect in January in the new budget year. But I want you to know that the cost is gonna go up.
$100 a month, it's gonna go up 100.
So about $1,200 for on that line for the year. But what we're dealing with now with the Comcast internet is ridiculously slow service, intermittent service. and-
Comcast doesn't exist here yet, that's why.
Oh, well, whatever it's, what's it, Breeze Line,
Oh,
excuse me,
yeah,
Breeze
well,
Line.
that's-
They don't have fiber in the area, well, they'll bring it, but
At
at
your
a substantial cost.
What about Comcast? I know they're supposed to start streaming soon, I thought.
Yes, and their fee was higher than First Light,
so they were gonna do an installation fee on top of it.
yes.
So it was a lower monthly but a higher installation.
No, the monthly was the same.
So Comcast would have been $3,000 installed.
Something like that, yeah, I don't have the, I left that paperwork at home,
Breeze Line.
not at home, at the office.
Because the other concern is that eventually that headquarters needs an adjustment of locations and stuff like that. But-
Yeah, but we have to deal with this now.
Currently,
and-
right.
And when and if we move headquarters, we'll deal with it at that point, that issue.
Well, I'm sure the town has something down there too, so you.
Yeah, the town has fiber in the new police station,
Mm.
I think through Consolidated.
Hmm.
Um,
Are
But
you-
maybe we get a deal there.
Are they
at
basing it
that
on
point.
a year-long lease?
It's a year-long, annually, renewed
Yeah.
annually.
But it is, so if for some reason something had to change earlier than that, what would be the penalties?
Uh,
That's kind of where I'm going at, based on it.
I don't know, I think, we wouldn't need more than that, based on their analysis of what our system does. So I don't anticipate a change in that unless we change locations. And if we change locations, we can cross that bridge when we get there and try and, maybe renegotiate, for, better deal because of moving locations or something at that point, that's.
So what are you looking at to get through this year?
I'm not changing any funding. If they offer us to move earlier, because there was a deal, if we signed earlier, they would give us a month or two for free, but that changes every month, and so I would have to talk to them. And if we were able to go earlier and get a couple months for free, it would probably be, the 373 or double that, because how many months? We got September.
Well, we're in September, so we're coming to the end of the year in 3 months.
Yeah, so at the most, we're talking
3 months.
3 months worth, and I can find that within the budget, probably, currently, right, the call salary line is underutilized because of our call response, so it would be easy to take it out of there.
The difference of what we were looking at for the budgeted.
For what we have budgeted this year to meet it to the end of the year,
Right.
if they're able to install it sooner.
Okay. What do the commissioners think on that?
Needs to be done.
Move money?
Well, there's nothing,
Nothing to really.
there's nothing to do this year. It's just, telling him to go forth and seek the fiber. I just know, I know here they were having issues until they got the fiber and, yeah. And they only have, 5 workstations, something like that over there. They have you, the chief, oh no, the deputy has, oh.
The captain, 2 work,
Yeah.
and the 2.
And it adds up and it bogs it down and
Yeah.
you want to be productive, you don't want to be not productive, so I'm okay with it. You can let it go. But
Okay.
it's gonna be
Sounds
eventually
like commissioners are all in favor, and it's not something we need to make a motion or anything, so.
Thank you very much.
consensus.
Yeah. Non-public, you had something for us? That's the easiest one of them all.
I do.
Is that 5-1?
Yeah.
Is that
That
that?
sounds like a bad doorbell.
Okay, want to pass it down, please?
Okay, so this is the non-public.
That is the non-public one.
Alright.
And then I have non-publics for tonight.
Oh, we have to go into non-public tonight?
Yes, we have more
Yep,
disposition
Disposition
reports.
reports, yep. The manifest, were those the ones that
All
we did?
signed.
We all signed
Yep.
already? Okay, so that one, I finished that up today
Chop that
myself.
off.
And we closed out this one last time, right? We didn't have anything as a do up from it?
That is correct.
I thought we did, okay. Alright, I'll make a motion to accept the non-public myself.
Second.
Any discussions on the non-public? All in favor of accepting the non-public as written? Alright, that was a quick, easy one. I can
Thank you.
honestly admit I had not read the minutes from our meeting with the town of Tilton.
Okay,
I am on that one, yes. And that one I do not just want to blindly accept.
so do you want to put that off?
Could we table that one till next month?
Sure, I'll just take it right off.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a motion to table it and
What,
the commissioners.
next month or Thursday?
Oh, yeah, till Thursday, because we're making that a meeting.
Right,
Everyone in favor of tabling
That's
that one
fine.
till
I
Thursday?
can review it again.
Okay, yeah, that one I definitely want to read closely.
That.
Okay, and then our last one,
If the commissioners want to sign, each of these sign it, I don't have to sign it.
that's the lot line.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and then
Do you want us to put the date or just sign
who
it?
made the
Just sign
second?
it, I'll put the dates in for you.
to table it?
Yes,
Uh,
you made the motion.
I made a motion.
I'll second it.
Derek Pyro, okay.
Thank you.
All in favor of tabling? Aye.
All right.
That's three, okay. Oops, I'm sorry. All right. 8-2, okay. And are we good with 8-2's minutes? Everyone good with them, that we can vote on them, or do we want to table them to Thursday? The public?
Let's just do it on Thursday.
Okay. I'll make a motion to table that one till Thursday as well.
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we will revisit both of those, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll revisit those two on Thursday night.
Okay,
I'll have a chance to read them, okay. Dispositions reports, and we'll have to go on that. Before we go into the non-public session, upcoming meeting dates for the public awareness will be September 8th budget workshop, as well as a commissioners meeting prior to, on September 8th here downstairs, Tilton Town Hall. On September 20th, there will be a budget workshop. Location is still to be determined at this time. October 4th will be the regular meeting, Tilton Town Hall downstairs. Station committee meeting is September 12th. And I think that's all of our do you have any safer grant meeting? I thought that-
No, we gotta do one, I haven't done one yet.
Okay.
So I will reach out to Catherine tomorrow.
So that is all of our meetings
Okay.
listed for the public. Do you have the reading thing? I don't have my fire binder with me.
I do.
Good. It's still in the wife's vehicle. All right. Today is the 6th. Okay, members present, 1, 2, 3. Motion, okay, who's gonna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to go
Eric
in
Carrera made a motion, okay. You want a
I'll
second?
second it.
Paul's gonna second.
for RSA 91-8:3, Roman numeral 2C.
Let's see. Matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any persons other than a member of this board, unless such a person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on the inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. Roll call to enter into non-public. Paul?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Yes.
All right. At this point, we will
And the time?
stop, and the time is currently
7:05.
7:05. All right, public session reconvened at
7:08.
7:08. All right, do we need need a motion to seal the minutes?
No.
Just give it out for people. All right. I mean, all right. We got through that one pretty quick. I like it.
Thank you.
All right. Only thing we already did the meeting dates. Is there any other new business for it to bring forward to the committee tonight? Okay. So, someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Eric Pyro to adjourn
I'll second it.
Wait, let me think about it.
at 7:08.